One, welcome all, and welcome back to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast with your host Tyler Carter. And tonight is going to be a very special episode. We're going to call it our Bleav in Iowa State basketball spectacular. And I had to have my guy Logan on. Logan, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, I'm glad to be here finally. We've been planning on this for a little bit and I just haven't made it yet.
Yeah, glad to be on here and a good time too because we just had basketball media days and basketball starts in 2 weeks. So let's start with the breaking down of the roster. What are your thoughts on it?
I think TJ, he perfectly put this one together this time, which I think all of his rosters have been pretty good, but this one he addressed everything we needed and the parts fit together perfect.
Completely agree, man. Like one of the guys I wanted to talk about is JT Rock. JT Rock ended up reclassifying a year early, and he really had a year to grow into his body. What do you think? How do you think he's going to contribute this season?
I think right now to start the season, he's going to be a little bit behind a few guys, but the practice time he got in against, you know, Jones last season and Ward and King is really going to help him this year. Plus, going against the guys we have now, because we do a single player that's small, and that's going to be really effective for him to be able to contribute to the team. I don't think it'll be soon, but I think he will contribute this.
Okay. Yeah, I like that, man. And another guy that I'm really excited about is Noyes Andrusaitis. Um, he is going to be a guy for me that I think will be a very a good contributor. What do you think? Oh, it looks like we had a technical difficulty. We're gonna try to get him back on. But uh, like he was saying, JT Rock will be a little bit behind in his development. But the good thing is that this roster has a pretty this roster is pretty deep. So taking a look more into this roster, and I think another guy that has had Raven reviews this offseason is Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson definitely um, wild coaches in the offseason. So I look for him to be a very high contributor in this offense. So 1 second, I'm gonna try to get Logan back on. But as I said before, let's we're gonna continue this, and we're gonna look at right now. We're gonna look at possible breakout players that I think could be um, very control. I'm looking through the roster right now. Um, I think for me, I think that Curtis Jones definitely will be able to take a step up. From reports from camp has been saying that he's been even better this time. So he's basically going to be an automatic bucket getter, which I saw a stat earlier today that Iowa State was 19-4 with him on the floor. So just having that spectacular of a record with him is going to be, and him being able to be basically an automatic bucket is going to be scoring. Also, I think Milan Montillo is just going to take another step up. But Cody, welcome, man. We had we had um we had Logan on, but he lost himself. But I'm glad that we had you, man. So welcome to the show, Cody. Oop. Oh, hello. Ooh, sorry. People just keep popping in and popping out. Sorry, we're sorry about this. We've been having technical difficulties as of now so far. We are trying to get this situated. So please be patient with me, everybody that's on the live stream.
Apologies.
Oh, okay, Cody, you're back. Sweet.
Yeah,
Basically,
my
I was no, you're good, bro. Um,
yeah.
so I think Logan will join us at some point again. He did join. He had some technical difficulties. Um,
Okay.
but basically, we got into the breaking down of the roster, and
Yep.
I will share that on my screen.
Sounds
So I'm
good.
gonna have you give your thoughts on
All right.
what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. So showed up a little late. Just busy taking care of stuff. So glad to be able to
Ah,
hop on right now.
completely get it, man.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we're looking at here. So we've got Kate Kelderman. All right. So see up Kate Kelderman, sophomore guard. Noyce Hinjusaidis, freshman guard. Conrad Hawley, senior forward. Demarion Watson, junior, I believe.
Yeah, Demarion Watson is a junior. Yeah.
Yep. Curtis is a grad senior. He's a and then JT redshirt freshman. Joshua Jefferson's believes a senior. Caden Fish is a sophomore. Keyshawn's a senior. Tatum's a junior. Branton is a senior, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay. Milan sophomore. Deshaun, I believe, is another senior on the squad.
and Nate Heisey, I heard
Yeah.
is I've heard rave reviews about him, and they said that he's going to be an underrated player. So, who do you think? So, out of this group, who do you think has a chance to be a breakout player on this roster?
Out of this squad, whew. Something tells me about Deshaun Jackson. Like, I'm really looking forward to that front court, seeing how they're going to be able to replace the production of Hassan Ward, Trey King, and Rob Jones. But something just leans me towards Deshaun Jackson a lot because from what I've heard in scrimmages and during fall camp, a lot of praise for Deshaun Jackson. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to the table. And I mean, obviously, I'm a dude who just loves it when a big man can just go up and just slam the ball down, just throw it up to him, and he'll slam it down. And I'm expecting some mean Deshaun Jackson posters this year.
Bro, I think the same thing. I think he's gonna. I think he may have a chance to be like a double digit scorer.
Mm-hmm.
I think another guy for me that and this might be an obvious pick or not, but I think, or maybe this is underrated, but I think for me, I think Demarion Watson could be a guy that could break out. You saw last year, um, how he was great defensively, but sometimes and some he was able to get us clutch baskets. So maybe I think if he takes a step offensively, I think he's a guy he could who could definitely be able to be a breakout player for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's for the front court. I think for the back court, I might honestly we already saw it with Curtis Jones, and I mean he kind of had a breakout last year, but I think I'm look out for Nate Heisey, see what he can bring off the bench in the backcourt.
Yeah,
Because I mean with the rotation at guard that we have, it's impossible to keep any of these guys like all these guys look like they have like a place like looks like they can get into the rotate like in like game experience at some point in the
right.
game depending on matchup wise. So I'm expecting every single person on here to get some minutes, some of the others, but I'm excited to see. And it's gonna be really funny. But just imagine TJ Altenberg decides to pull on a full just shooting like Golden State Warrior lineup, or just put an all guard lineup in just because.
I mean, that's the thing, man. It's sort of like a pick your poison with this roster, dude. Especially when you're baby basically be able to have like two starting lineups, with all the depth that we have on this team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and then I guess for you, what would be like your projected starting lineup? Like, what do you imagine is going to be like the?
So yeah, so for me, I think it's going to be we're gonna have Taman, Keyshawn, uh, Milan, Deshaun, and then we're gonna have. I think it's going to be Joshua Jefferson. And Logan, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, I
We're
got back
basically
in.
welcome, welcome. But we were just basically just talking about basically projected starting lineups, and I was to give my thoughts on who I thought would be maybe a part of the starting five. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I mean, it all starts with the two guards we have, uh, Lipsy and Gilbert. You can pencil those two in as basically automatic starters just because they're all Big 12 players and they're really good. I mean, at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Milan is going to be coming at the three, and then
Mm-hmm.
your two big spots are going to be held down by Jefferson and Jackson.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
after that, rotation wise, I still see Watson getting some minutes.
Yeah,
Jones will be the
definitely.
yeah. Jones, I think, still is going to solidify that 6-man spot. Uh, Chatfield, he's going to get a lot of minutes, and Nate Heisey, I think him coming off the bench with Jones is going to be deadly. And there's not going to be a lot of teams that will be able to contend with two guys that have that size that can shoot like that.
I like that, man. This is definitely gonna be like we were I was talking about earlier. It's like definitely gonna be a pick your poison on who we can return to on our bench.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then one of my other questions was for both of you guys, whoever wants to go first. Who do you guys think will be our best player overall?
Ooh, I I'm not too sure about that. Something tells me I'm right now with the way that Keyshawn played, like obviously the secret scrimmage over the weekend, 35 points. It looks like either one, he's developed a more consistent like jumper. So he's taking smarter
Mm-hmm.
shots, but finding them more consistently, or he's been able to connect more in the crashing to the rim. So I'm thinking honestly, Keyshawn Gilbert, because the way he plays and the way he's able to draw contact while also having maybe more consistent shooting a jump shot. I think that could mean like be the best player for us.
Logan, what do you think?
I was going to say the same thing. Just he had points last season where when he wanted to score, he was basically unstoppable. And on the defensive end, he was brilliant. And like Cody brought up the secret scrimmage, he went off. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're able to go off on a team like Creighton, that's some really good momentum for him coming into the season.
Yeah, it's always good to scrimmage a team like creating a top 15 team to start off the season, and especially just with a few of our bye games. I'm really, really excited to talk about this schedule. I want to let's dive into that because this schedule is very, very exciting. I'm gonna share this on my screen real quick.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Let me just take that off. Um,
Yep. Yep, and I guess while you're putting that up, I'm taking a look here at Joe Lenori's bracketology from yesterday. So the four regions that we have for this year, like the are going to be the Midwest. It's going to finals going to be like Indianapolis. In the East, it'll be like Newark for the Sweet 16 Elite Eight. In the West, Sweet 16 Elite Eight will take place in San Francisco, and for the
mm,
South region, Sweet 16 Elite Eight will take place in Atlanta. Now, Giulianari here in this very early projection has Iowa State as a 2 seed on the same side of the bracket as, so he has in the South region, the number 1 seed being Alabama as the SEC champion. He has Iowa State as the 2 seed. 3 seed will be North Carolina out of the ACC. 4 will be Texas Tech. 5 will be St. John's. 6 Arkansas. 7 Michigan State, and 8 is Wake Forest. That'll be the top half of the region, but he has us playing in Milwaukee.
Man, dude, if we can get a top two seed playing in Milwaukee, I'm definitely going to be tempted to get tickets again.
I mean,
I,
Milwaukee bode well for us the last time we were there.
Oh yeah, and especially with beating Wisconsin, which was basically a home game.
Yeah, I still need I still need that clip of when who was it, Brad Davison was pointing at the Iowa State like thing or whatever.
No, definitely, man. I need that again.
Yep. All right, now you got schedule up. Break it down for us, and I'd like to get all of our thoughts on the schedule.
Okay, so we're gonna break down the first three bye games. We have Mississippi Valley State, Kansas City, so UMKC, and then IU Indianapolis. So obviously these are just bye games that fans will be able to go to. I think obviously we fare well, but I want to look at the game against Auburn. That one is the game on November 25th against Auburn is going to be very very interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean that's the game in Maui, so that'll be very fun to see. I mean, TJ and Bruce Pearl, two pretty solid defensive units and two great coaches currently in college basketball, and playing on a big stage like the Maui Invitational. It means a lot, probably a lot to these players, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm thinking honestly, if Iowa State can come out of Maui with at least a 2-1 record, that'll look very good for the season. And very early on, Iowa State will be truly a force to reckon with.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I think winning two out of three games, or maybe even winning three, that would be great. But that would definitely be a resume booster for the tournament.
Hmm.
Now let's look at this another matchup that I'm very very interested in looking at is the Marquette game.
Hmm.
Obviously with the Big East Big 12 Challenge. It goes by standing. So last year, the Iowa State and Marquette respectively were both top teams in their conferences, both in the second. So this matchup I'm really really looking forward to.
Hmm. I mean, it's gonna be yeah. It's nice for Iowa State to be able to host one of these again. I believe this is the first time in 2 year, like in a couple years, that Iowa State got to host one of these Big East Big 12 battles because the last couple of times Iowa State has had to be the road team for it. So it's gonna be nice to see that we'll get to host one of these marquee matchups. And this has been something for the longest of times that some other fan bases have complained about Iowa State, the lack of competition at Hilton. But now, like I said this last season, hey, the door's wide open at Hilton Coliseum. Many teams welcome to visit. I
And I
will guarantee
mean,
you're.
yeah, definitely, man, Cody. Logan, do you have any thoughts on this schedule?
I like the way it's set up for sure. They got their cupcakes beginning, and then
Mm-hmm.
we jump into that Marquette game. Jackson State, I think, will be an easy game, and then right into Cyhawk. A couple more cupcakes, and then we blow right into Big 12 play, and then we have the Maui, in there as well, and we've got a chance to have some really marquee wins going into postseason play when we get there. It's not going to be if, it's when we get there.
Right. Are there any for you guys? Are there any obviously non-con or matchups that you are looking forward to or that stand out? Because I know for me that January 27 or the March 1st game, what I believe is a gold out against Arizona. Here, I'm gonna go down for that, but that March 1st game against Arizona is going to be amazing. And then another game I'm looking forward to is our February 22nd game at Houston. So I think two of those games are going to be crucial. I think conference wise, and of course, obviously KU. But
Mhm.
like those are some of my notable games, and of
Yeah,
course, just Maui too. But go ahead.
I'm super excited to get the home and away again with Kansas. I just really wish we had the opportunity to have a home and away with Houston last season
Mm-hmm.
because of the classics we played with them, other than being blowing them out in the Big 12 tournament. But I
Yeah.
was really disappointed when it came out that we don't have a chance to play them twice.
Right.
Yeah. That was honestly one of the fun things from last season was getting that home and away against Houston and then meeting them in the Big 12 championship. So that was really fun to see. I mean, both teams home and away was able to punch each other in the mouth. So that was just a heavyweight matchup, and they were both great matchups. And last season, Iowa State is actually the only team I Bleav to have played in the Fertitta Center and not lose by double digits. They lost by 8. Even like every other team that walked into Fertitta Center lost by at least 10 points. We
Hmm.
managed to hold our own, and we were even tied with Houston at one point. So it just shows
Yeah.
you that the DNA of Houston and Iowa State are very similar. They're both really tough defensive teams that make you pay for any mistake you make, and they force you to move the ball quick. So I'm very excited for that Houston matchup. But for me, I definitely want to see more like obviously the Baylor game, January 4th. That's going to be on CBS, and that, I mean, it's going to actually be the recognition of the 1999, 2000, and 2001 teams. So they'll both be recognized January 4th that day. And then the game against Kansas at home. So look at 6 p.m. It's gonna be interesting. I know, unfortunately, those games won't have as many students because these are like during winter break. But I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure there's more than enough people in the city of Ames, and there's going to be a high enough demand that people still want to go, regardless. But for the students, the K State matchup, February 1st, that one's going to be should be a really good matchup. I'm really excited to see what happens there, especially after the craziness of Farmageddon last year with the whole Tangate and things like that. You know that this rivalry, like I'm waiting to get back into that building just so I can give the business to Jerome Tang. I want to give the business to that team.
I mean, and adding Coleman Hawkins to this rivalry is going to even make it even more, like, more had more vitriol because
Mm-hmm.
how he went off against us, when he played at Illinois. So yeah, that's going to be a whole saga with Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about. I mean, obviously, we can talk about tournament predictions. So for me, obviously, it's early, but hey, this is when Hope Tricks and Turtle, how we think we can do tournament predictions. So last year we got royally screwed in our seeding to where we were like the last number 2 seed. We were the East Conference, and
Yeah.
and we was loaded with Illinois being in the same side, us, UConn. Like it was so unfair. And then you look at a team like North Carolina, who basically just or Arizona that ran to the Elite Eight in the West. I'm like, man, we could have been the West and could have easily made it to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you mentioned that East region. You mentioned UConn. You mentioned Illinois. But yeah, but not just that. But they kind of
Cody, could you repeat yourself, please? I couldn't hear you.
oh, okay, but yeah, basically what I was so yeah, just looking at the region as a whole, the East last year, that was kind of wild. Other than that, just overall, I mean, UConn repeating. I don't know how that they're gonna do, but I'm really excited. Like regardless, but hopefully we get a better like region than what we saw.
Right, naturally, I mean, you would think that they would probably have some regression after winning back-to-back national titles. But hey, sometimes teams could be wagons and could three-peat. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Watch out for Dan Hurley. Like, who knows what Dan Hurley's up to in stores?
Oh yeah, no, they are. He's going to be recruiting up and down the East Coast and recruiting nationally because everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to go to UConn. UConn is now a power again in college basketball. So I look for them to be one of the top teams in college basketball again, up there with Duke, with Cooper Flag coming in. With I think Florida will be a lot better. I think Arkansas now with John Calipari. I mean, I mean, they're going to be a team who you know now with him being there. Let's see how they do, especially with
Mm-hmm.
NIL and all that. But so for predictions for me, um, I mean, the Big 12 obviously is like the SEC of college basketball. So for me, I still think that I think we're gonna finish. I think we're gonna finish like second or third in this conference. I think if we, as long as we split against KU, and if we can win against, we can win against win that game, our only game against Houston, and then also split against Arizona. I think we'll be in really good, in a really good position. And I think that the team overall, our team could be better. We could probably have a little bit more losses, and then whatever, however we do in the Big 12 tournament, that's how we do. But it's really about seeding. I do think though that with all these teams, all these amazing teams, still think that even if you are finished like sixth or seventh in this conference, you can still get like a 2 or 3 seed in the tournament because of
Yeah,
how
definitely.
hard this. Yeah. So I think we'll be like either the last one or maybe like a 2 seed.
Yeah, I have the same thing. Yeah, just because like the nature of the college basketball world and the fact that you have like three of the top five teams in the preseason poll in the Big 12, there's gonna be a lot of like I'm thinking just the Big 12 is just gonna be just mayhem all over the place, but that's just gonna open up opportunities for every single one of these teams to possibly give themselves a shot to really get a higher seed. But yeah, I think Iowa State could end up being as a like the last one or a higher 2 seed. Let's just hope that Iowa State doesn't get shafted like what happened last year and got like the bottom 2 seed for whatever reason and just get screwed out. So
Well, and this is why we're in the Maui Invitational, man. So hopefully, all the wins that we get in that tournament, and like Marquette, we have a lot of quality wins non-conference. That was the knock against us last year.
mm-hmm.
Well, Logan, what do you think?
Yeah, it's sorry, my kids were running around, so I was kind of half
No,
listening
no,
to
I understand, man. It's all good.
Don't worry.
you. But yeah, I can see a 21 season easily, and like you said, getting one of those 2 seeds. And yeah, I hope we don't get shafted into being the last one again, because I we've got the talent across the board to be no lower than that top number 2 seed.
I agree, man. I think I really think that we can make a run to like out of any year. I think this could be the year that we can make a run to the Final Four, like for real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude,
Like,
I've already threw a 50 shot down on us to win the national championship, and I really believe that. It's I know anything can happen, and you can get those any mid major that gets hot for 3 or 4 games in the tournament and can beat anybody. But I don't want to sound like for me personally it's championship or bust. But yeah, Final Four or the championship is easily attainable.
oh no, I agree. And with the tournament, it's all about matchups. I just think, um, for us, like, yeah, it's really about us coming with the right matchups and then seeing how this team gels. I think in icon and in conference play, and if we have like a good start to conference play like we did last year, I think we're going to be rolling. And then obviously, having a good showing in Kansas City again, which I think we will.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's see another. Yeah. Okay, and then my last thing is we're just gonna do overall record and do our overall record prediction on how you think the basketball team's gonna do. Like, what do you guys? How many wins do you guys think we'll have?
Um,
Sorry.
not too sure. I'm trying to like look at like everything here. Just I think this is just gonna be a shot in the dark, but I'm realistically thinking we could probably win like all 3 games in Maui. So I'm trying to factor that in, trying to factor us beating Marquette, getting the win in Cyhawk because this is a much weaker Iowa team the previous years, and we have a
Yeah.
much stronger. But then again, it's Cyhawk, so who knows? That's a toss up. I'm thinking our like conference losses could possibly be like at Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
at Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
and then at Houston. Those would be like a three losses
Three
that I can
losses.
see,
Yeah.
and then maybe at Kansas State, depending on how. So I could imagine us going 14-4 in the
14-4.
conference, or is that how that works? I'm trying to figure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So is that 20 conference games, I believe? Okay.
That's
So
20
probably,
conference. So 16
yeah.
and 4.
Yeah, 16-4. And then we should be able to sweep the non-con. So like only have us losing 4 games. So that'd be what, 27-4.
Okay.
That's kind of where I was too. I just went through the schedule real quick. Yeah, those are the same losses I can see us having. Uh, I I could step it up to 28 because beating Kansas State twice is not
Out of the
out of
picture.
realm of out of possibility because
Oh yeah.
we've seen how much of a mess they were last season. They hit the portal good and they've really remade their roster, but
Mhm.
they've got a head case as a head coach, and that's not
I
really going
mean,
to
all
help
we,
them.
all we got to do is just sit right behind him and just have like a camcorder.
Yeah, just some dude hanging out and like standing up every time I have a timeout and peeking over, and he's going to lose it.
Yeah, I think the Kansas State game could, like, honestly, that could be a toss up for me. So I could honestly see us winning that one. So 27-28 wins is where I kind of have the squad at.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have somewhere about the same between like 26 to 28 wins. So still being up there with the top up at the top with Houston, and I think Houston will be probably be Houston, depending on how Kansas does Kansas, and then us. It could be flip flop with second between KU and us,
Yeah.
depending on
yeah,
how that goes.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe Kansas will finally have some depth because last year it was like, what, 80+% of their production came from the starting five. So
right.
maybe they won't have to lean on those starters so much.
yeah. I'm guessing they probably have the most expensive roster in the Big 12 because
Hmm.
Self's not going to want to do that again, and the fans aren't going to let him do that again.
Nope.
Yeah. That Kansas basketball NIL is ridiculous. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we close out here?
Not really. I'm honestly just ready for the season. I just want to get to basketball season. I'm so
Oh,
ready for it.
dude, I've been ready for basketball since basketball ended last season. A couple weeks
Yep.
ago when the football team was 5-0, or maybe even last week, I messaged Tyler and I was already like, dude, I'm doing a deep dive into all these transfers. I like cannot wait
Mm-hmm.
for basketball to start already.
This is why I said. This is why I had to have you on. I'm like, we're definitely gonna have you on throughout the season. We're probably just gonna have you on as our third guy just throughout the season. Just have your insight. And we're probably and I think how we're gonna do this is we're probably just gonna do one big show. It's probably gonna last like 30 to 45 minutes to break down men's and the women's team. So
Yeah.
Okay.
then that way, because it's out, it's just gonna be hard as hell to to do a Wednesday, Saturday, and we'll just do one day, or maybe do like a Sunday or whatever that we're not playing, and then we'll do it that way. So then that way it'll be easier to cover the
Right.
team.
Right.
But yeah, guys, that thank you for joining us in our Bleav in Iowa State basketball spectacular. Um, Thank you guys again. So once again, you can find all of us on Twitter. He is at I'm at Side Tie Guy. He's at Matt Campbell Impersonator, and Logan, tell everywhere where they can find you on Twitter.
I gotta look see. I think it's just Hayes 30, but I had to create a new account there for a while because I used to troll the Iowa fans on their boards a lot, and somehow somebody on there figured out who I was through all of my accounts being the same name, and they doxed me on there.
Oh
But
boy.
it's still yeah, it got pretty bad. But okay, it's just Logan Hayes _30. So yeah, I don't hide. If I troll you, I don't hide behind a picture. I'll
That's the
take
same
my
thing
lumps
with me.
back.
That's the same thing with me.
Yeah,
People know who I am at this point, so it's like I
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
really care.
Yeah. So all right, so that's where you guys can find all of us. So and then for our social media for Bleav in Iowa State, BLEAV, we can be found on our social media pages, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find all of us there. So for Tyler Carter,
From Cody Vanciololo.
And Logan Hayes.
yes, and Logan, yes. Can't wait to see him more during basketball season. This is the Bleav and Iowa State podcast. Go Cyclones.
Let's go State.